Well, hey there, it's Catherine from CatherinePuller.com. I'm excited to be participating in the Save the Crafty YouTuber video hop. You will find all of the information below this video, including the link to the next video on the hop. We have prizes, you guys. So look at all these amazing sponsors, including me. You can see me right in the center there. There will be 2 Catherine Puller ink pads per video for the 5 days of hops given away at random. So make sure you leave your comments so that you get a chance to win. So in this video, we are going to use some new goodies from all the Trimmings holiday release. We're going to use all the ink colors that you see here, the Yay Stripe stamp set, the Holly and Berries cover plate, the nested labels dies, the seasonal sentiments and borders stamp set, and the Vegas baby sequins, which is a great mix of golds and some hologram and amazing sparkle for the holidays. We're going to use the Flourish background stamp. This is a great stamp, a great pattern for the holidays and beyond. You're going to be using it all year long. We're going to start out by inking it with Melon Ice. If you've ever seen our ink pads before, if you haven't seen our ink pads before, you can see how easily I am able to ink up this background stamp. I mean, I'm just barely dabbing once around the whole thing and boom. It's inked. Our inks are foam, and foam transfers ink to a stamp beautifully so that you get a fully covered solid image, no splotchiness, and you're gonna be really happy with them. So I'm starting with Melon Ice and doing a little Rickey, and then where the colors kind of met, I just used an ink blending tool and just kind of blended out any harsh lines that I may have. Now the piece of cardstock that I used to stamp on, this is Catherine Puller cardstock, and I did a little larger than a card front, so it was a little larger than 4 1/4 by 5 1/2, and then that ensures that I get the whole background stamped on the cardstock, and then I was able to cut it down to the size that I wanted. I'll put the Flourish background stamped piece aside and work on the little piece that I'm going to use for the grading. So I'm using the smallest die from the Nested Labels die set, and I'm just running that through the die cutting machine. And then you can see I have this cute little label shape die cut now, and I'll be able to add my sentiment on that. But first, while I have the die cut machine out, I'm going to grab my Holly and Berries cover plate. So I have another video on this cover plate. It's absolutely stunning, and I'm going to use it in a very different way in this video. So you see, I just want to use a little bit of it. This is a unique piece because it has frame and outline hollies, and then it has solid hollies, so it's really cool. So I'm just going to cut out a part of it to start with. And now I'm just going to choose a couple of the hollies with the berries and cut them closely and kind of remove them out of the whole big piece, and then I can use them as individual accents on my cards. So I'm just working with some fine, very sharp scissors and just kind of clipping around, and boom, look. Once I had them cut out, I noticed I needed to go in and do a little bit of trimming. So I'm just getting in there with those sharp scissors and just kind of trimming that excess away so that it looks like it was supposed to be like this. And this really stretches your cover plate, doesn't it? So now you have another way to use it. You can use it the whole cover plate, or you can cut out little pieces of it and use it. And look at that shape. It's just so unique. Before I set this die cut piece aside, I'm going to just cut out a couple more Holly and Berries. Then I'll be able to add several to my project if I want, or have them on hand for another project, whatever. And then next up is the Yay Stripe stamp set. This is such a great staple set for your stash. I'm using our large rectangle block, which is perfect for border stamps. Our blocks are lightweight for their size. They have grid lines, they have nice grooves on the side for your fingers, and they're pretty fantastic. I'm using grass skirt ink to ink this up, and you can see again how easy it is to ink stamps with our foam ink pads. So I stamped it on there. I got a great solid image, and then I'm just going to trim it down a little bit. It's a little too wide and a little too long, so just trimming that down, and then I'm going to add it to the Flourish background piece. So a little liquid glue on there. I made it longer than the stamped piece on purpose because I thought it would be fun to kind of hang off a little bit on the side like that. And then we're going to use that little label and we're going to stamp Joy from the Seasonal Sentiments and Border stamp set, and we're going to color in. So I'm using our largest block, which I really like to use as a color palette, and I'm just taking the grass skirt ink pad, dabbing it onto that block, and then I have a color palette. So I'm using the blender pen, which is basically a clear marker, and I'm picking up color, and then I'm able to color in my leaves. So when you're coloring in, make sure you go along the edges too, so that you don't have any white hanging out on the side there. And then I'm going to do Joy, and I'm doing kind of an ombre look on the letter, so darker along the bottom and then lighter as we go up, just dipping into that color palette and coloring. When you're ready to switch colors, just scribble off your blender pen on a piece of scratch paper until the tip runs clear, and then you're ready to go into the next ink color. So we're using Samba, which is a really gorgeous light red color, along with Rockin red, which is a darker red. And we're going to do the Samba first and then kind of throw in some highlights there with the Rockin red. Then when we're finished, cleanup is a breeze. Just spray it off with some water in a spray bottle, and then if you want to do a 2-in-1, you can take a piece of watercolor cardstock, just dab it onto that wet ink and then let it dry, set it aside, and I'm sure that is going to come in handy at some point. So assembling the card, I'm just using a little liquid glue, putting this on a white card base. I thought that was a nice finish to keep the attention on the flourish background and those gorgeous holly and berries. So I'm just using a little liquid glue, kind of trying to figure out where I want to place them, and then we'll adhere them right to that label. And the label, I added some dimensional adhesive on the back so it pops up and gives some added dimension. A little bit of Nuvo drops. These are crystal clear with some sparkle, and we'll just add those to the berries. And then the Vegas baby sequins. I'm going to take a couple of the largest gold sequins in here, and then one of the hologram. And I'm just going to tuck a couple underneath that label. I always love how that looks. Little sequins tucked under a layer is just such a fun touch. Love that. So I'll add those on there, and that is it for this card. Hope you guys learned something. Hope you had fun. You have an amazing hop ahead of you, so be sure to comment along the way, because 2 ink pads on every single video are up for grabs. Who's going to win? Hope it's you. Good luck. Have an awesome day. Make sure you subscribe to my channel and other hoppers on the hop, and we'll see you again soon.